In 1988, Australia celebrated its bicentenary. 200 years since the first fleet arrived in Australia. The Australian government invited tall ships from all around the world to participate in the bicentenary tall ship regatta. I'm Kevin Collier, and I was lucky enough to be involved in this. This is my tall ship adventure. Life on the Rachel B. Jackson was a mixture of leisure, but we were also crew members. So most mornings we'd get up and we'd work on the boat doing maintenance, fixing sails. We'd also have to dive over the edge with snorkels and scrape the barnacles off the side of the boat, because as they grew, that would slow down the performance of the boat when we were sailing. In the afternoon, we'd have free time. We could visit the islands and just really enjoy ourselves. What attracted me to this? Well, growing up in country Victoria, we were a long way from the sea. So to get an opportunity was a real adventure. What were some of the highlights? During the time we travelled throughout the Pacific, we visited many remote islands. We often got to go into the villages and meet the locals. We often met with the chief. On one island called Tanna, we actually climbed up to the edge of a live volcano, and we sat there watching this volcano erupting. We got to experience whales and dolphins and beautiful sunsets and sunrises. What were some of the mental challenges? When we did one of our longest trips, which was from New Caledonia across to Australia, it took 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, you were confined to the one place. And eventually, that ship can become a very small place. We'd work 2-hour shifts at night on the helm, and then 3-hour shifts during the day. And soon, you could find you wanted a bit of free space. On some days you'd go and find yourself sitting up the front of the boat in the net under the booms, just so you could get some free space. But you soon learnt that you had to be able to get on together in such a small environment. Compromise and just a willingness to move along. One of the physical challenges was that this was a traditional gaff rig schooner, so everything was done manually by hand. When we set sail, we'd have to hoist all the sails up by rope and set them all. And often this could take 20 minutes with 2 people on each rope as the skipper gave us directions. And eventually, once it set sail, it was just a wonderful feeling of seeing the sails full and the ship start to lean over and pick up speed. Were there any occasions when I felt like I wanted to give up? On some of the long voyages, being confined to the ship could become quite stressful, and I could certainly understand why sailors in the old days would often mutiny against the captain because they just wanted to get off the ship. But I often thought that if you give up now, you'd always ask yourself, why didn't I stay? I could have got through it. So I stuck to the challenge. The final highlight was when all the tall ships gathered in Hobart, and we took part in the tall ship race from Hobart to Sydney, and then we competed in the tall ship parade, which was conducted on Australia Day in 1988. It certainly made me feel proud to be an Australian, and that the great experience I'd got out of this adventure.